Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the back office teardown lab. Today we're going to work on this Fisher-Price tape unit. Now, I have tested it just before the video, and I did that by soldering a couple of wires onto the battery connections, and it worked great. I was really surprised because I thought the belt would be worn out, but no, it just went straight into playing its storybook. Now, to make this more useful though, I think I want to add a battery to it, and of course this will not fit in that hole. So I'm going to see if there's any room inside, because nowadays it's really annoying to try to pick up those sort of C cells, isn't it? You don't really want to deal with C cell batteries if you can avoid it. And I kind of like the idea of trying to slip in a lithium cell if possible. I don't know what the next best alternative would be. Probably just go with C cells. Now, something I tested on the bench was running it at 5 volts, and it seemed to work absolutely fine. So it wasn't as sensitive as you'd think. I'm guessing it's because if it's designed to use 6 volts of battery, it probably assumes that you're going to be running kind of a little bit under 6 volts. So it's probably regulating it down anyway. Right, that's the last screw. Long screws they are, aren't they? No problems getting those screws back, not like laptops. Whoa, that is super workable, isn't it? Let's dust that off. But look at that. If you need to replace the belt, it's super easy, and it's a really massive long belt. I'm not even sure I've got one that long in the kit actually anyway, so just as well we don't have to. But look, if you have to, come straight off like that. I really wish the old Walkmans were like that. I'll pop that belt back on. So the problem you've got though, let's see, we can see one of the battery contacts there. I'm just trying to get a glimpse without having to take this whole chassis apart of the other. Oh, hang on, there's a battery here as well. So you've got this whole bundle of wires. You've got this yellow wire that seems to be running around everywhere, and then on the other side there's a battery red wire here, right there. So potentially we could just tap into that. So what I'm going to do is get my battery, which I think if you're very ginger, and remember we'd have to have a way of charging it, so we might poke this through the charging bay like that. Is we need to see if it's just feasible in any way, shape or form. There's a big foam block there that might have to be removed. Just feasible to see if we can get the lid on with that perched somewhere like that. Without puncturing it. That sort of, oh look, apart from this thing was getting in the way, let's see if we can tuck this in somewhere so it's not getting in the way for our tests. Not quite as good as last time. Various plastic things here that's going to stab that. We could maybe snip something too. Definitely looking at that, you could probably snip out an area to let that fit. Maybe I'll just do that. No, but we'll have to see. The old PCB is going to run up right here on the PCB, come to a conclusion, which I'm going to show you now. And that is, if we manufacture a slot in here, you see just in there, that we can slide this battery in. It can sit really nicely flat against the back. And I'll just remove this little, I guess it's a spacer just to push, you know, this probably stops the back from wobbling around, and I think it lines up more or less with the tape mechanism, so it's just to stop this vibrating, I think. But it's really thick plastic. It's really awesome. So if I can just clear that little space out there with a Dremel or something, whoop, we're away. I've marked out in green the area I want to remove. However, found my little multi-tool thing, and I've lost all, like I say lost, broken, all of the little disc things that cut. This is just one of those sanding ones. I don't know, if you've got any recommendation, by the way, for any little discs that can go in that, little die grinders that will actually work, let me know, because I can't seem to find any that last more than 2 seconds. I think we're done with the grinding. Now we'll just get with some chopping, and I'm going to use my precious electrical side cutters here, but sometimes you got to take one for the team, haven't you, really? Nice. Could do with smoothing that down. I'll probably just grind that down in a bit, but before that let's do a test fitting. Look at that, guys. You got to admit, that's pretty smooth. I'm like, smooth McGroove. Now what I'm going to do is make sure this is at the bottom, because that goes with the battery door here. So we need to make sure that's at the bottom when we fit that. That looks bloody amazing, doesn't it? I think we're going to be good to go with that. Before I do though, I'm going to trim all this up, clean it all up nicely, and let's try a dress rehearsal. Going to try the test fit now. This speaker was a little bit ever so rattly, and I think it comes down to these little metal tags. I'm just going to give them a little bit more tension because they're only aluminium. Pop out the other one. It'll be good, won't it? I was just watching, as an aside, I was watching Metal Jesus Rocks the other day in Japan, and I have to say I was loving that, and it was so awesome because my brother went out to Japan recently and bought me back a bunch of Sharp X68000 stuff, and he went to the same shops. So he went to Beep and is it Akihabara, and I've got the Beep bag, and I was like, oh right, that kind of puts a more context on it. This is not moving now one jot. So we're going to slide the battery in. This is all going to be stuck down, by the way, the battery, when I'm done. I'm not going to leave it loose flapping around in there. They're used to being stuck down, of course. They're always stuck down in your tablets, and I think that was reclaimed from a tablet if I'm not mistaken. Ooh, it's looking quite good. Fat, very good. Ooh, almost too good, isn't it? I mean, that's pretty good as a solution. I think we'll have to hot glue it though so we can get the charge port. So my idea of this is to hook it up somehow. I'm not sure quite yet. But the idea is being, I might just glue it in such a way that I can still charge this up to recharge it. I'm probably not going to rely on the kids to recharge it. Although it is something we could explore while we're here. The problem with this, of course, is that it's quite a bulky thing. I think I'd rather expose a wire, you know, an external port on this if I had to. Let me have a little thinky. I've just extended the battery wires a bit with some, put some heat shrink on there as well so they don't short out. You don't want to short out lithium. So I've got myself some exhibition carpet tape. It's reasonably tacky, but it's kind of designed to at least be removable from one side. So it's got 2 layers of tackiness. One is like crazy tacky and the other is less tacky. So I'm just eyeballing up the case here because you've got a cutaway here, which is approximately here, so it doesn't matter really too much which way we mount the battery. One way will give us, either way basically we're gonna end up with the same length, so let's not worry too much. Oh yeah, one trick with this exhibition tape, if you get it, just give it a little pinch like you're trying to tear it before you put it down, because it's incredibly hard to grab an edge, but that way you can peel off a bit of an edge to give you the winning edge. Yeah, that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. I'll admit that. But the tip is good. You'll have to admit it. It's worth it for that twop twip. And then you can do that. I wonder if that'll work on that stretchy 3M tape. It probably would as well. Boom. See? This is my boomstick. I'm going to pop that in. And I'm not going to push it right up to the edge of this bit where the PCB goes, because there were a few components there, so we want to make sure we miss those. And what I've done, I've got the module off here, and I've found one of these on my shelf of stuff. Boom. So the idea is I'm going to mount this inside the battery bay and then put a couple of wires here, so these go straight. I'm just going to solder onto the battery tags for now, so that you've got, it's kind of semi-serviceable. But you might have a little bit of trouble getting your charging port in there. Yeah, maybe that wasn't such a good idea. Let's worry about that in a bit. Let's see if it fits first. I like the way I kind of start off on with a really good, solid idea. This is how we're going to do it. And then just already second guess myself before we even start. I'm just poking those through that hole I showed you a bit earlier. Ooh, it's kind of tense now, isn't it? It's like, I hope it all actually fits together. Does the plan come together like the A-Team, or does it burn like one of the A-Team's memories? Memories. Well, that kind of went in there. Let's see what's going on with that. Oh, it's probably this wire. Get back in there. Just make sure everything, all the doodads are where they should be. The volume control was a little bit scratchy, but I'm not going to go and clean the pot. I just think, meh, kids, right? This is not hi-fi. Oh, it does fit beautifully. And there you go, you can see the two battery contacts. I mean, technically, if this thing ran off 3.7 volts, it would be golden. But you're never so lucky. And frankly, you still need to add something, because you're going to have a way of recharging that cell. So I'm just going to put this together, and then we'll look at the final connections. Got my wires ready. That hissing in the background is the sound of the ever useful glue gun. So these new wires are crazy thick, that they're so thick that they barely want to be soldered. Almost tempted to turn the soldering iron up, but meh. It's okay. We've got fingers of asbestos. Ah, oh. So hot. Then we have to attach that in there. That's going to be tight. Now you can see I've opted to try to do a direct solder method. That's because I've worked out, and that's why the glue gun's on, that there's a way of mounting this inside the case that is kind of going to work quite well, but it does require something to anchor your glue bond to, and there's nothing better to anchor it to than that massive USB port that we're not using. And the best part about it is it still retains access, ow shit that's hot, to the bit we want. It's a shame they didn't put any extra terminals on this, like some nice fat power terminals, but it's fine, we're retasking it. I think I did have one of these once which did have some fat power terminals. Getting it in there. Nice. So I think that's pretty good. Now just to show you the idea. Oh! That should work now actually, shouldn't it? Let's test it first. Oh no, what did I do? something I do mess up the tape. Shit. So it was running, kinda, but kinda messed up at the same time. Running but messed up. Not my Fisher-Price tape. Oh, it knows there's a tape in it as well. Uh-oh, what's that? Bit of plastic in there. Oh, have I got the polarity wrong?
Teddy does. What is it, Teddy? Yes, that's right. The last letter is Z, as in zoo.
That's cool, isn't it?
We're going to sing
a song about that, kiddies, aren't we? So that's cool. And you see the LED went out when the power stopped. So basically, while the power is going, the booster is activating.
The animal, you can make...
And then when you turn it off, in a few moments, the circuitry on the booster should turn off. There you go, conserving its power. So that's good. Phew, I really thought, my gosh, that I'd broken that thing by reverse polaritying it. Be more careful than I thought I was being ever so careful. But there you go, I wasn't, obviously. So I'm just going to bend these at a 90-ish degree bend. My idea was to hot glue it to the side there, just like so. So you can see, if I zoom in a bit, that I can still access that port. Obviously it's a bit at an angle and stuff right now, but I'll sort that out. That's good. And I've left a gap because the battery door obviously still needs a gap to shut into. So I'm going to just touch that up with a bit more glue. If I may. Get in there.
Teddy and I know a song about animals.
Oh, do you?
The animals went to two-by-two, hurrah, hurrah. Do you know it? Then join in with us. The animals went to two-by-two,
Look at that.
hurrah.
That's pretty sweet, guys, isn't it? Look at that. It's brilliant. I know there's a lot of hot snot in there, but frankly, it's a good solution because you can always lever it out if you need to. Probably a less good solution is leaving these wires quite short. If I made them really long, I'd still be able to open this up and service this when I need to. But come on, realistically, how often is that going to happen? Not very often. I just noticed actually, because I applied new hot snot, it melted the old hot snot. So now I've got to sit here like a numpty and hold that in. But all in all, have a look. I mean, basically, I think that's a brilliant project. 50 pence, guys. 50 pence. You can't get better than that, can you? Please like, share, subscribe, and come chat to me on my Discord if you want to talk about Fisher-Price tape players. As ever, thanks for watching.